Today we're going to learn note names on the treble clef and the bass clef. We'll start with the musical alphabet. The musical alphabet only has these 7 letters, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Once you reach G, you just loop back around to A again. So A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and on and on. It's also helpful to know the alphabet backwards in the same way, looping it around, G, F, E, D, C, B, A, G, F, E, D, C, B, A. Let's look at some notes on the staff. When we draw notes on the staff in order, going up or going down, you'll have a note on a line, then a note on a space, then a line, then a space, then a line, then a space, and on and on. This is what it looks like on the staff. When we say line, we mean that the line goes through the note. So this line here goes through the center of the note head. This is the note head, the circle part. When we say space, we mean that the note is in the space between these two lines. So as you go up, line, space, to the top of the staff. You might be noticing that the stem starts to go down when we go here. When you reach the halfway point, which is the middle line, you can put the stem the opposite way so that the stem doesn't run into stuff that's above it. In this case, it doesn't run into these words here. That doesn't always happen, but most of the time you will see the stem flipped the opposite direction. When we reach the top line of the staff, we can keep going. So here's the last 3 notes leading up to the very top line of the staff. And here is how you go above that. So we have line, space, line. When we run out of lines and we're going up above, when we say space, we mean that the note sits on top of the line or the ledger line. So this one sits on top of the line. If we had another line here, it would be in the space between. Line still means the line goes through the note. In this case, the ledger line goes through the note. This is a ledger line. It's an extra line that we add when we run out of the normal 5 lines on the staff. Ledger line goes through the note. Note sits on top of the line. Now we have 2 ledger lines. Now we have on top of 2 ledger lines. Now we add a 3rd ledger line, and you can keep going forever that way. Here's what it looks like to go down below the staff. Here's our last 3 notes going down till we reach the bottom line. We need a space note next. And when we say space going down below the staff, we mean that the note sits just below the line or just below the ledger line, like that. The next note down, we need a line note. We add a ledger line. There it is, going through the note head. Now we have a note sitting just below. Now we have a note on 2 ledger lines. Now we have a note below 2 ledger lines and 3 ledger lines. And again, you can keep going forever in that direction. Now we're going to learn how to name the notes. Here's our treble clef staff. Here are the notes starting from the bottom line going all the way up until I run out of space on this presentation. This is something you need to memorize forever. Burn it into your brain. The bottom line of the treble clef is always, always, always going to be E. However it is that you need to remember that, do that right now. You're going to need it a million trillion times after this. As you go up the staff in order, line, space, line, space, line, space, you will be going forward in the musical alphabet. And we're starting from E. We are not starting from A. We're starting from E. So what is after E in the alphabet? F. What's after F? G. What's after G? We loop back around and we have A, B, C, D. Loop back around again. There we go. That's going up. Going down, we go backwards in the alphabet. So even if you just look at, we'll start here. If you look at this G and you Let's imagine that none of these were filled in. You just had this G filled in and someone said, what's this one? You would go backwards one letter in the musical alphabet. G, F, E, D, C, B, A, loop back around, G, F, E. So up we go forwards, down we go backwards. Here's what it looks like to go below the staff. So we're starting from the very top line, line space, line space, line space. We already know that this note is F, so I'm just going to start from the F. We've got F going backwards 1, E backwards 1, D, and that is how we fill them in. Here are some memory devices and a word of caution about memory devices. The lines of the treble clef, the normal 5 lines, there is a saying. I'm going with the old school one. There's a bunch of other ones you can come up with that also will work. Every good boy deserves fudge. This being every E, good G, boy deserves fudge. The spaces, there's 4 spaces, 1, 2, 3, 4. As you go up from the bottom, it spells the word face, F-A-C-E. Here is the thing about memory devices. I used to not even teach these because people would mess them up so often. They only work on the staff. They do not work when you go up above, and they do not work when you go down below. If you use the lines memory device and you're trying to find this note and you go like this, every good boy deserves fudge. Every. You would have the wrong answer. That's not an E, it's an A. So even if you're going to be memorizing the memory devices and using those for the notes on the staff, from here down to there they will work, you have to know how to count up line space, and how to count down line space, forwards and backwards in the alphabet, or you will never be able to identify anything above F or anything below E. So please keep that in mind. All right, let's talk about bass clef. As we go up, we go forward in the alphabet. The bottom note of the bass clef is not E. You need to memorize this one too. Treble clef, bottom line is E. Bass clef, bottom line is G. And then as you go up, you're going forward in the alphabet. We're already at G, so we have to start looping back around. A, B, C, D, loop around again. And going down, we go backwards, starting from G, going backwards from G. One before G in the alphabet is F. One before F is E. And we go back down this way and loop. All right. Memory devices for the bass clef. If you're using the memory devices, you're going to have to remember which ones are treble clef lines, which ones are bass clef lines, which ones are treble clef spaces, which ones are bass clef spaces. So my trick for the spaces here, all cows eat grass. All cows eat grass. For the lines, I heard this one a few years back and I like it. Great big dreams for America. Okay. Again, the memory devices only work when you're on the staff. They do not work here and above, and they do not work here and below. You have to count up or down, forwards, backwards, line space. Okay, let's recap. Things to remember. Number 1, notes go up and down the staff, line space. When you go above the top line of the staff, the spaces, quote unquote, are the notes that sit on top of a line. When you go below the staff, the spaces, quote unquote, are the notes that sit right underneath the line. That note is an E, treble clef. That note is a G, bass clef. As we go up the staff, we go forwards in the alphabet. As we go down the staff, we go backwards in the alphabet. Those are the memory devices for treble clef. Those are the memory devices for bass clef. And they only work when you're on the staff. Okay, we're going to practice. Here's some treble clef ones. Number 1. Oh, I will say, pause this presentation if you don't want me to give away the answers and skip to the end to check your work. Otherwise, I'm going to walk you through it here. The first one, it's on the staff, it's a space. You can use the memory device, face, F-A. There we go. On the staff, on a line, you can use the line's memory device. Every good boy deserves fudge. Number 3, you cannot use the memory device. In fact, you can't use the memory device for 3, 4, 5, 6, or 7 because they are above and below the staff. So we have to count up or down. How are we going to figure this note out? The one we memorized is E. It's here. It's below E. Below means backwards. What is backwards? 1 from E. There we go. This one up here. Every good boy deserves fudge. Stop. Now you're going to go forwards in the alphabet. F. G would sit on top of the line. A on the line. If you're pretty confident you got number 4 right, you can use number 4 to do number 5. A, keep counting up. B would go above the line. C would go on this ledger line. D. All right, number 6. E is here. We're going to count backwards as we go down. E, D, C, B. Keep going from B. B, A, G, F. And that's really all there is to it. Let's do some bass clef. Our first note is on a line. We can use the memory device, which is Great Big Dreams from America. Great Big Dreams. That's a D. It's on a space. We can use all cows eat grass. All. The rest of them, oh, nope, 13 we can use. Let's skip to, well, I can't skip. Never mind, we're going to go in order. Number 10. We have to figure out how to go up from the top line. Great Big Dreams for America. A. B. Keep going up from the B you found. B, C, D, E. Number 12, we're going to go down from the note we memorized. Bottom line of bass clef is G, G, backwards, F, E. Number 13, we can use our saying, Great Big Dreams for. And our last one, we're going to count down again from G. G on the line, F in the space, E on the line, D. And that, my friends, is it.